Good afternoon, one and all, and welcome to the FPL Mate Gameweek 10 deadline stream. Apologies, guys, that we're not streaming a little bit earlier today. Usually I would have. I was planning on going early with the stream today, but I've had what might be described as a bit of a nightmare morning, and let me tell you a little bit about it and why, we're a couple minutes late even still. I've only just arrived back home pretty much because I have got to go to a wedding this evening. Very nice. Everyone likes going to a wedding. It is a black tie event, so very, very nice, very fancy, very nice. I tried on my suit this morning, and it would seem that I am not the same size suit as I was a couple of years ago. I thought, I last wore this suit, this proper nice black suit 3 years ago, just like summer 2022, and I thought, surely I've not grown in stature that much, but evidently, yeah, I'm a bit larger than I perhaps was a few years ago. Hey, it happens to the best of us. That's called entering into your 30s, I suppose. So that was my morning. So I've been basically running around this morning trying to find a new suit. Got one, thankfully, but as such, yeah, there's not been as much time to stream or indeed research FPL as I would have liked. But certainly the whole week we've been banging out videos. So chat saying, I thought you were in your 20s. You're 30? What? Oh, maybe that, you know what? I needed that today, guys. I actually needed that. Thank you very much. I needed that. That vote of confidence after thinking, damn, I'm getting old. But there we go. But yes, home now, suit sorted. I'm through unless anything crazy has happened this morning, which you guys will have to tell me if there's been any crazy news stories this morning, then I think I'm fairly up to date with everything that's been going on with FPL. I've done 5 videos this week. 5 videos and 3 short form videos, so technically 8 videos, plus this stream, plus the member stream. We've been going hard on the content. Some guy called Ben says, I'd have put us the same age, 28. Goal Getter says, you look 17. Right, that is just too far. Although saying that, I do still get ID'd maybe 25% of the time. Actually, a couple of years ago, I got ID'd for an energy drink. That's crazy. I don't look 15. Like, come on, let's be realistic. We've got a super chat here from Mark Duy, who says, kudos to Sar for a -4. It's not something I do for a -4. Hang on, I'll just throw my team on screen. Why are those? I don't know why the transitions are delayed. I need to fix that. So yeah, I did make the move of kudos to Sar, but the reason I did that was because I wanted to beat price changes and I had an extra free transfer. Now, if I hadn't have done that transfer and I didn't have any free transfers left, I don't think I would have done that move, because I actually think Kudus could be okay this game week. I think he could be fine. It was more of a case of really getting ahead of price changes and using up a free transfer I already had for maybe a slightly longer term pick. But I actually think Kudus against Chelsea. Chelsea have been one of the weaker defenses this season, so I don't really see too much of a problem with having Spurs attackers in particular against Chelsea this week. Could be okay. Let's check out the chat, see what you guys are saying. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to go through the chat in a second. I want to throw a captain poll because I have a feeling it might not be as unanimous on Haaland this week. So, who is your Gameweek 10 captain? So, I'm going to put in Haaland. I think I'm going to put Haaland, Saka, and Gabriel. Is there anyone I'm missing that's obvious for captaincy other than Haaland, Saka, and Gabriel? I don't think there's anyone super obvious. Danish says Gyökeres. I don't think that'll be too popular. Mateta. Man, the Mateta hype is getting out of hand. Voltemada, I don't mind. I am going to put Haaland, Saka, Gabriel, and I'll put other. So if you're on Mateta or Voltamada or something like that. Go for other. Let's see what you guys are saying there. Right, let's have a flick through the chat. First and foremost, main man Dan says, quick one, Dan. I was planning on saving my transfers after 3 from last week. Do you still recommend me transferring Joao Pedro to Mateta this week? If you have the opportunity to do Joao Pedro to Mateta this week for a free transfer in one single move, I would pretty much do that every time. So anyone who has Joao Pedro, a free transfer, or at least one free transfer, and can do it in one move, has the money in the bank to make the upgrade, I'd just go for it. I would just go for it. It is a clear improvement. The fixture difficulty is similar, but what you have is a player on penalties, a player in much better form, and a player with much better data. So lots of boxes ticked. And according to some people, with Mateta, he's a captain option as well, which really goes to show the difference of opinion between the two players. Richard asked about Alderete, whether I thought he'd start. I'm feeling reasonably optimistic about it. He has been training, which is usually all you need, right? If a player's training, then that's usually a good sign that they will continue to play. I mean, Sunderland, they're not in the League Cup anymore, are they? League Cup quarterfinals. No. Just wanted to double check that before I outed myself. But yeah, they're not in the League Cup. They're not in any European competition. They can go pretty much full strength, can't they? Every game. They're not really resting Alderete for anything. So I would imagine that if he is clearly part of their best 11. He's clearly part of a team that's been working very well. I think he does start, yeah. I think he could be good there. Reese says Munoz captain. That's brave, Reese. If you want to go for that, then fair enough. It's a little far for me. I actually think Crystal Palace aren't the perfect defense. I do want to put that one out there. They're a decent defense, but you know, realistically, they're probably a mid-table defense. So against Brentford, who actually they're not a horror team. I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that a clean sheet is super likely. It's probably less likely to happen than it is likely to happen. Does that make sense? I don't know what the odds are saying. Let's check out the odds. I would probably put the Crystal Palace clean sheet at around 30% though. We need Rob T. Presumably he's updated his great pumpkin costume there, by the way. Yes, here we go. Rob T has put the latest clean sheet odds. So yeah, Crystal Palace 31% chance of a clean sheet. So your clean sheet is more likely to not happen, but you know, you got a chance there. DEFCON against Brentford, definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Are you looking for that attacking return, really? But when you factor it all in, Munoz's goal/assists rate, add the clean sheet rate, add the DEFCON rate, which is maybe a little lower for Munoz than it is maybe some of the centre backs. Is that really more than a Haaland? You know, the you know, Haaland scoring 1 or 2 goals seems a little bit more likely to me. So yeah, it's brave. I don't know if there's enough upside there. I feel like Arsenal, who like Gabriel, probably has a similar, if not better, chance of getting an attacking return, and certainly a better clean sheet chance. So you're probably not going to get the DEFCON with Gabriel, but certainly, certainly if you were to go for a risky captain this week, Gabriel would be exactly where I'd be looking. If I was lower ranked right now, or if this was later on in the season, I'd be all over that Gabriel captain. I'd be all over it, and probably shaking in my boots with fear, going up against the mighty Erling Haaland. He's very mighty indeed, isn't he? Well, not so mighty last game week for the first time, anyway. Let's keep going through the chat. Someone's talking about triple captain Haaland. I mean, any game week is a potential triple captain week, but I would wait. I don't know if you saw my video yesterday. We spoke about a potential double game week coming up. I actually made a pretty good graphic for that, so maybe I'll find that and throw it on screen. Where did I put it? Where are you? Where are you? Hang on, I will find it. Because it's pretty handy. I should probably post this on social media, to be honest. Open with Google Chrome. All right, here we go. Sorry for the delay. So excuse the format of the graphic. Usually my head is meant to go in that little gap here, but obviously that's not going to happen here. Super chat from HQA says, Captain Urian Timber. I'm not as keen on Timber because you're going to get lower goal scoring odds. You're going to get lower DEFCON potential. Timber has just not really looked like very much of a target man from those set pieces recently. It's really kind of switched up a little bit. Early on in the season, Timber was actually getting a few of those headed chances, but not so much recently. So I'm not as keen on Timber. I think Gabriel genuinely rivals Haaland as a differential, but Timber I think would be like maybe a tier below that. So there we go. Right, anyway, looking at this. So speaking of triple captains and what have you, even free hits. This is the situation for double and blank game weeks, and these are the two potential options that we might have, the two potential scenarios, due to a fixture clash basically between the League Cup quarter-final and and Crystal Palace's final group game. It is their final group game, right? It must be. For the UEFA Conference League. So, as you can see in the top graphic, scenario A, you can see Crystal Palace's fixtures. They play Man City on Sunday, then they play Arsenal on Tuesday, and then they play KUPS on Thursday, which is a Finnish team, I believe. Which is a lot of fixtures in a very small amount of time. By the way, prior to that Man City fixture, they play on the Thursday then as well. So what's that, like 5 games in 8 days or something? Who to bench, Senesi or Alderete? I would bench Senesi over Alderete, 100%, Sean. 100%. What do we have here? So, Goalgetter says, are you English or American? I'm very much English, my friend. OG says, let's talk FPL, says blank game week less likely now, just 48 hours after the draw. It depends who you ask, really. It depends who you ask. There was a BBC journalist, basically, who suggested that it's unlikely to happen. But scenario B is a very elegant solution, and it will be considered. So we don't know what will happen. Like, I think maybe some people were saying before, yes, we're definitely going to see scenario B. We're definitely going to see double game weeks. We're definitely going to see blank game weeks. It is far from definite. And I think that's what people are coming around to. The fact that it's actually like genuinely like a coin toss at this point, which of the two scenarios will actually play out. Whereas before, I think people were quite convinced that we're going to see scenario B. But as things stand, we're on scenario A until told otherwise. Crystal Palace are just going to have to play a game every 2 days. And that's kind of, the suffering from their own success, I suppose, of being in all of these competitions. But of course, let's do the super chat quickly. Sam LUFC says, would you start Xhaka or Semenyo? I think Semenyo could bang in any game, but Xhaka has the fixture. I like Semenyo for this week, particularly if Evan Nielsen is back. I think that helps Semenyo a lot, and I think Krupa Jr. is more of a direct finisher. Evan Nielsen helps get his teammates into the game a little bit more, which is going to benefit Semenyo. And also, Semenyo is quite a good transition player, and certainly against Man City, we're going to see, their weakness against transitions exploited. You would imagine that that's how Bournemouth are going to set up to try and counter Man City, play on the break there, and that's going to really benefit Semenyo. And I think there is also a slight trend towards wingers scoring against Man City this season as well, which was probably related to that transitional weakness. So I would prefer to play Semenyo this week. I really would. That's not to say I dislike Xhaka. I think he's a decent pick as well, but I would say that Semenyo has probably got the higher chance of points if I had to guess. Sid Vicious says, do Gyökeres to Mateta for free this week or next game week? Honestly, it's a really tough one. I feel like I would probably give Gyökeres one more game week, though. Like, Mateta is a good pick. There's no doubt about that. but he is being overhyped. He's a good pick if you're removing a bad pick like Joao Pedro, for example. Maybe you could throw Jared Bowen into that conversation, who are kind of not firing at the moment. But an Arsenal striker against the worst defence in the league, certainly on underlying data, Burnley are the worst defence in the league. It seems pretty risky to sell Gyökeres this week. And, you know, losing an Arsenal player in their best fixture of the first half of the season. Like, is this bias? Arsenal are the best team in the Premier League right now. And they're about to play the worst team in the Premier League. You kind of want to be tripled up on that team. Best versus worst. However it comes, really. However it comes. Let's have a look at scenario B very quickly, guys. So scenario B is if the Premier League do decide, well, the Premier League and the Football League for the League Cup, if they do decide to move some fixtures around, then we're going to see a double game week in game week 16, and it's going to be a double game week for Arsenal and Everton. Arsenal's fixtures will be Wolves and Everton. So I think certainly if you do still have your triple captain chip left, I would wait and see how this plays out. Because if this comes to fruition, and we'll hopefully find out within the next week or so, if we do find out that Arsenal are going to get this double game week, then that's a very clear triple captain week. And also, it makes game week 17 a very clear free hit week, if you have your free hit as well. And it will certainly be that way around for me. It could be very interesting indeed. So I'm kind of as someone with my triple captain and free hit chip, that I'm hoping really for scenario B, because I think that will really benefit my my team. But if you don't have a free hit, you're still going to be able to manage it because you're going to get 5 free transfers. What is it? Game week 15. By game week 16, you're going to get those extra 5 AFCON free transfers. The Afro transfers, as we like to call them. And you are going to be able to somewhat manage this. But a free hit's probably better because then you get to keep your Arsenal players beyond game week 17. And, you know, of course, if you've got a triple captain, again, if you've got your triple captain, you want scenario B. If you don't have your triple captain, you probably want scenario A. So there we go. I have got a bench list, by the way. A pre-made bench list, actually. Do you want it? I'll give it you. Do you want some bench list? That is too wide. That's about right. There you go. A fabulous pre-populated bench list for you. You can have a scan through that for your benching decisions on this lovely day. By the way, guys, if you are watching, feel free to drop a like. Really does help out. Little click on the button helps a young upcoming FPL content creator in this dangerous world. And yeah, feel free to subscribe as well. Hit 241,000 subscribers today or yesterday. So thank you for that, by the way, guys. Still targeting 250,000, quarter of a milli by the end of the World Cup. That is my target. So end of World Cup fantasy, I want 250. That's the goal. Hopefully you guys can help me get there. Right. Where would Welbeck place? Right at the top. Right at the top. You play Welbeck. No doubt about that. JR with the super chat says Gyökeres to Mateta or Kudus to Sarr or roll, mate. If it's for a free transfer, I would maybe do Kudus to Sarr, but it's like a luxury move. It's non-essential, I think. Particularly now that price changes have been missed. There doesn't really need to be made. It's not like you're risking getting priced out because presumably you can afford these moves and what have you. So, yeah, it's a luxury. I don't think I do Gyökeres to Mateta, personally. I do Joao Pedro to Mateta. I do Bowen to Mateta. I would do, I don't know what other forwards aren't really doing well. If you've got Isak, I'd do Isak to Mateta. Yeah, a whole bunch of players. But yeah, Gyökeres against Burnley, I don't think so. Like I say, that kudos to Saar move is luxury. It is a luxury move. E-Man says I'm on Saka captain. Brave, man, brave. Is there any players missing from the bench list? By the way, guys, do let me know in the chat. Ibrahim says, get Rutter -4 or play one of Semenyo or Enzo or play both. Oh, Semenyo and Enzo are fine to play this week. They're absolutely fine. I'd place Semenyo above Enzo, but I don't think you improve your team by going for Jorginho Rutter. Certainly from -4, that's not really something I'd consider. So yeah, I'd play Semenyo. But you could arguably play Enzo as well, depending on who your other options are there. But thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for everyone who's super chatted so far. Really appreciated. Perez says, feeling Tottenham versus Chelsea is a goals galore all over the place. I mean, it could be. It usually is, isn't it? But there's no Ange Postecoglou anymore. We've got boring Thomas Frank. So who knows what's going to happen. Alex, you saying you're the show team gang chairman? Are you indeed? Dan, what about Saar? I mean, players like Saar, Mateta, any Crystal Palace players basically go right to the top of this list. So you play them all. Where would Ekatike place? Again, I think if you've got Ekatike, I try to avoid putting any player above 8 million. The only player above 8 million is Semenyo. But basically any player above 7, you're going to play every week. You're going to play any player who is costing more than 7 million every week, no matter who they're playing. Because the theory is, if they cost 7 million or more, then they're probably a player of high enough quality that they are capable of doing the business in any given game week. So really, Ekatike, Gakpo, Semenyo, you can say they don't have the perfect fixtures, but you just play them. Bowen, yeah, I would count Bowen in that one as well, probably. I think you probably play Bowen. But that one I'd be less sure on, because Newcastle are a top defence, and Bowen is maybe overpriced. What do you think about doubling up on Manchester United? I mean, it's interesting. I think I would maybe wait until game week 12 to double up on Man United, where their fixtures do look a little bit better from there. Van der Ven or Richards? I would definitely play Richards over Van der Ven this week. You're going to get yourself better clean sheet odds from that. Tatum says, should I go with Gabriel or play safe with Haaland for captain? I would just go safe with Haaland. Unless you're ranked like, I don't know, 5 million, I'd probably stay safe with Haaland. Or unless you're very brave. If you're very brave, Gabriel's your guy. How about Njai? Njai, yeah, you play. You play Njai. Yodan, bench 1, Anderson, Richards, or Chow? I bench Richards out of those 3. Because they're all good. They're all very good. But I would ideally play all 3 of them. In fact, there's got to be an argument to bench an attacker, really. Smallville says, don't understand why Van der Ven is off for most people. Chelsea do not score much. Do they not? Is that true? Let's find out. Am I bugging? I thought Chelsea scored pretty much every single game. I can't remember the last time Chelsea didn't score. Okay, so let's go for their fixtures. So they've scored in how many consecutive games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. To be fair, they didn't score 14 games ago against Crystal Palace. First game of the season, no? Yeah, okay. So since the first game of the season, Chelsea have scored in every single game. So they do score much. I mean, they've scored 4 against Wolves, once against Sunderland, fair enough, not many, but 5 against Ajax, 3 against Forest, 2 against Liverpool, tough team. Chelsea score goals. Come on. Let's not kid ourselves about Van der Ven. I know Van der Ven owners are very hyped from last week. I imagine the clean sheet odds are pretty poor. 23% clean sheet odds. It's not great. It's not ideal. I think really we're looking for anything above 30, and then your defender is more than playable. But below that, unless you know they're a DEFCON player or, got good attacking threat, which I guess you could argue with Van der Ven for an attacking threat. I don't know. Scott says, can you recommend your favorite sub 5.5 mids, please, Dan? I think if you're going down to 5.5, you may as well go all the way down to like a long staff at 4.9. There's not really too much going on there. Let's go on hub, though. Oh, I need to log in. Hold on, guys. I'm not logged in here. Have a look at the bench list for a second whilst I log in. Why has it logged me out? No idea. Right. So, midfielders. Let's go per start. Hide low minutes players. Take the budget to 5.5 or less. I mean, if you could go up to 6, we'd be talking about Minter, really, wouldn't we? But alas. So let's just do expected points. Actually, it's usually a pretty good metric. So Aronson, maybe not going to go there. Tavernier, Brooks, maybe some rotation risk. And there you go, Longstaff in 4th place. I think Longstaff is not too bad for Defcon either. Let's zoom in a little. So let's go have a look at this as well. So, I mean, Vifer, maybe. Where's Longstaff? This doesn't make the top. Okay, here we go. So 3.86 recoveries, 5.86 CBIT. Let's check per 90 on this one, actually. Probably give a slightly better idea. Similar. It's not going to get Defcon every game. But, I mean, you're close, so you're going to get it occasionally. And there's a little attacking threat there. He's on set pieces. Yeah, sub 5.5. I think that confirms it to me. I would just go all the way down to Longstaff for a cheap midfielder. There you go. How about that? And you save yourself a little bit of money to do other things with. Right. Lots of questions about Gyökeres. If you have Gyökeres, I would keep him. What else have we got here? Goalgetter is spamming the chat. I'm afraid, Goalgetter, please stop spamming the chat with emojis. We need to hire a new moderator. That's what we need to do. Is anyone here I know quite well? Because that is a lot of emojis, man. And we're filling up the chat. Cairo says is not having Senesi on a wild card at the moment a problem. Can't fit in the budget. I think there are alternatives. I don't think you have to go for Senesi if you don't want to. He's a good option. He's definitely a good option, but not essential. Thoughts on Gyökeres or Burmo captain? I don't know. No, they wouldn't make my top 3. Neither of them would make my top 3. My top 3 are Haaland, Gabriel, and Saka. And going outside of that seems really risky. Like, too risky. Even picking a captain that isn't named Erling Haaland is risky, full stop. Kablash, I don't know if I would bench Semenyo for Richards. No, I don't think so. Semenyo versus City or Ghana versus Sunderland? Definitely Semenyo. Yeah, I think so. In 90% of teams, Semenyo probably starts. Maeve, I would play Alderete above Stack. Stack is pretty much got to be rooted to your bench at this point, I think, sadly. Not on set pieces anymore. Even his minutes are under question, so he's not getting the DEFCON anymore. Sid Vicious says, would you start Burn or Alderete if you also have Pope? Oh, I'd be willing to double up. I'd be willing to double up there and go for Burn. Yeah, I think I would stick with Burn. You never know. If Burn becomes the target man again, this is a good fixture for him against West Ham. So, yeah. Big Dan Burn. Should we start Alderete? Generally speaking, I think he's not a bad player to start. Like, I think he's worth a go, right? he's either going to play or he's not going to play. In theory. I don't know how true that is. I don't have enough data on Sunderland, really, to really make that claim. But typically with centre-backs, they either play or they don't. Typically, you know, if he's got a head injury and he's, like, still concussed, then he's not going to play. But if he's not concussed, then he starts. I swapped Joao Pedro to Voltemar. Dan, is that good? Yes, I think it is, Randy. I think that's a good transfer. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Start Rodon or Van der Ven. Ooh, that's a tough one. Are they on the bench list, those players? Did I put Rodon on here? Van der Ven's there. Oh, yeah, Rodon's above Van der Ven, so yeah. So yeah, just in case anyone is maybe new to the streams or whatever, and you haven't seen the bench list before, if you do have a bench-related question, who to bench, who to start, there's a very good chance that the players that you're talking about are going to be on the bench list, because I've tried to include all the popular guys here. We've filled it up to the brim with all the most popular picks. I don't know if there's anyone missing. Who's missing? Maybe something like Tarkovsky or someone like that. Minter. Minter's getting popular. And you know what? When I was making the list, I thought, should I put Minter on or not? So I think I can throw Minter on there without too much hassle. Although we are getting full. So please be aware, we're not going to add many more players to this at all now. Because it is, the text is going to start shrinking and things will start looking a little uglier. But in fact, I'm actually going to drop, because we got an update on Smith Rowe, so I'm going to drop King down a little bit, I think. I'm going to drop him to maybe here. And we're going to put Minter above some of these guys. Maybe here. What does he go above? Does he have to go above the Chelsea boys? Maybe. Let's go here. I'm going to go there for Minter. Pretty high. And there doesn't seem to be much clamour for Tarkovsky on there, so I won't be putting him on there. Let's check the chat. Anderson, yeah, okay. Anderson is popular, so I'm happy to put Anderson on there. He is a definite start at this point. I'd start him ahead of a lot of these players. I start him ahead of a lot of these attackers, to be fair, as well. I'm going to put Anderson super high. Really like him as a pick this week. I am still going to put a little flag on him, though. Because I don't think he 100% starts. Any leaked team news? Great question. I haven't even checked. Let's find out. Probably not going to have anything, but worth a check, right? Does not look like it. Nah. No leaks. We'll check again, though, because we've got a lot of 3 o'clock kickoff, so we could get something. Timber or Calafiori? It's Timber for me. Should I switch Anderson to Rodon? What's in sell Anderson? No. What if we're talking about defender Fulham Anderson? Like, he's like one of the best picks, I think, this week in defense. Really, really nice pick. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Anderson owners. Really, I wish I had him this week. He's a great pick. Captain Gabriel could do. Could do. It's an interesting one for sure. If you're brave, that is. What's the poll saying at the moment? So the poll is saying 72% on Haaland captain. We've got 11% on Saka, 10% on Gabriel, and just 7% on other. So the likes of Mateta, Voltemada, maybe not super popular, but usually Haaland is at like 80% in these streams, so there does seem to be a little bit more of a difference, but it is still, like, Haaland is still way out in front as the most popular captain in the poll. Like, way out in front. Should we sell Senesi? No. Don't think so. Rodon or Senesi? I'd play Rodon over Senesi this week, but they're both on the bench list, no? Yeah, they are. And Rodon is very much above Senesi. Isidore as a future pick? Maybe. We'll keep an eye on him, I think. Not one to go in on quite yet, I don't think so. Josh says, you end up watching solo leveling last weekend. I didn't in the end, no. What happened last weekend? Oh yeah, I decided to make a video on Sunday instead of instead of chilling out. I decided I played my foot champs and then just worked. So no, and I'm not gonna have time this weekend either. But it's still on the list. It's still on the list. I'll have to find some time at some point. Oh, international break's coming up, so that'll be a time. Then I catch up on some anime that I haven't watched yet that I want to. What do you reckon the odds are of Burnley scoring? I don't know, like 40%, something like that. So, like, it's less likely to happen than likely, but it is not beyond the realms of possibility. Arsenal will concede goals at some point, by the way. They're not just going to keep keeping clean sheets every single game week. Like, football is a crazy game, right? Random things happen all the time, and it's just going to take a random incident. No matter how good a team is at defending, they will concede to something completely random. It's only going to take like an absolute wonder strike from a player, or a penalty given away, or a mistake at the back. They happen occasionally, even with the best defenders. They'll probably concede to Villa. Yeah, I mean, if we know Arsenal, they probably will concede to the Villa, won't they? Is Chow still a buy given Hall back in training? Well, in theory, Chow should be unaffected by Hall. It should, in theory, be Dan Burn / Botman most impacted by Hall back. Because Hall is going to play left back when he's fully fit, and it will be a couple of weeks before he plays, by the way. He won't play this game week. He won't play next week either, I don't think, Lewis Hall. Probably we're looking at Hall's first start, probably looking at game week 12. And at that point, so it's going to be no longer Burn at left back, because Dan Burn is playing at left back. And if Dan Burn isn't playing at left back, he's either on the bench or he's playing at left centre back. And if he's playing at left centre back, then Botman is on the bench. What's Chow is a right-sided centre back, so that's a slightly different conversation. I certainly wouldn't be buying Burn or, to be fair, Botman this week either. I think Chow is probably okay. I mean, he's just won like October. Was it October? Newcastle Player of the Month. Was instrumental in the midweek win against Spurs, winning the ball back high up the pitch, and really, really helping create that goal. Was that second goal, I think? So I think Chow is going to be reasonably nailed on. And when the great thing about Chow is when he doesn't start, he's not going to come off the bench. In theory, again, we're talking in theory. Rarely going to come off the bench. So as long as you've got a nice first bench option that you're happy to come in and play in that terrible scenario where your player doesn't play, that 10% of the time where they don't play, then I think Chow is absolutely a fine pick. I think it's Burn and Botman that concern me, because I have no idea how that's going to play out. And different people have such different opinions on that one. Why is Semenyo so high on the bench list? Because he's playing a City team that can be got at and are weak on the transition. Semenyo is a perfectly acceptable pick for game week 10. Perfectly fine. I think some people see a red fixture and get scared by the colour. It's just a colour, guys. Colours can't hurt you. Don't worry. The colours can't hurt you. Teams can. And Man City. Heck, are we that scared of Man City at the moment? If it was Arsenal. Oh. Virality says, hi Dan, as I'm an Arsenal supporter, do you think Saka will get 90 minutes? As I'm an Arsenal supporter, or as I'm an Arsenal supporter. Do I think Saka's going to get 90 minutes? I think he's going to get 85 minutes, if I'm honest. He only got subbed early last week because he was ill and hadn't been in training. So wasn't, quite up for the full 90. And you could kind of see that in his gameplay as well. But he's better now. He's been training, played some minutes midweek where he got his goal. Yeah, Saka's fine. He'll play plenty of minutes. Why not target Fulham players? The problem is if you buy Fulham players, you have to keep Fulham players, and they don't have Wolves every week. Fulham are also a team where it's very difficult to judge who's going to play. So we don't even know who's going to be the striker. Is it going to be Raul Jimenez or Muniz? We don't know. Both of them have some injury issues. Who's going to play as like the attacking midfielder? Is it going to be Smith Rowe or King? Who's going to be playing on the wing? When is Kevin going to start playing regularly? Is it going to be Iwobi? Is it going to be someone else? Where's Sessegnon going to play? And even if you can correctly identify who is starting for Fulham, you've then got to figure out, okay, Fulham, they're not really a team that scores more than a couple of goals per game. They have maybe 6 different attackers on the field at any given time. Let's say two forwards. Well, a forward, 3 attacking style midfielders, and then whoever else, defenders, central midfielders. Then you've got to identify who is going to score the goals. And I think Fulham are a team that split their goal share so much. Again, it's very difficult to judge. So, 1, you've got to keep them. They don't face Wolves every week. 2, you've got to actually figure out who's going to start and who isn't, which is more difficult than you think. And then 3, you've got to hope that the one guy that you pick is the one that scores the goal or gets the assist, which is not a guarantee. So, that's why I'm way off Fulham players right now. There is just too much. There's too much going against them as picks, I would say. I think, but yeah, look, there's probably going to be a Fulham player this game week who gets a decent FPL score. I just can't tell you who that's going to be. And if you think you know the answer, then fair enough. But I'm not going to be so bold as to claim to know, sadly. But in defense, Anderson, great pick. Mata says, love the Saka shirts. Yes, we have the Saka shirt behind, which is too big for me, which is why it's hung up and not on my body. Would you sell Salah for Saka this week? Probably not. If you have Salah, I think you just see it through at this point to Game Week 12. Tijani with a super chat here says, holding Gyökeres for 1 more week is pricing me out of upgrading Toss into Chow or Burn. It can't price you out of Chow or Burn, surely, because Burn is 0.3 million now, more than Chow, no? Do you think I should hold off till after the Burnley game? And who do you think I should bench? By the way, Tosin and Van der Ven. I would probably bench... I'd probably bench Tosin before I benched Van der Ven. So I play Van der Ven over Tosin. Would you really be... Would you really be priced out of Chow, though? Because he's 0.2... Or are you saying that you need to downgrade Gyökeres to make a second transfer to upgrade Tosin? If that's the case, then I probably wouldn't make a double change there. Losing Gyökeres against Burnley isn't really worth making a Tosin upgrade when you can just play Van der Ven. So, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'd do it. I think I would hold Gabriel for 1 more week. I think he deserves one last chance if you still have him. Anderson is still a good pick, yes. Scott says, which teams will we be targeting from Game Week 13? Trying to think how this will affect my moves. Well, certainly from Game Week 12. From Game Week 12, Man United have a really nice run of fixtures. Liverpool, of course, have good fixtures from 12 as well. So From 13, again, Liverpool, they play West Ham in 13. Newcastle play City in 12. So from game week 13, they face, I'll tell you, Everton, Spurs, Burnley, Sunderland, Chelsea, Man United, Burnley, Crystal Palace. Decent run for Newcastle there as well. Man City look good for 13. They play Newcastle away in 12, of course. So beyond that, they play Leeds in 13, Sunderland in 15, West Ham in 17, Sunderland again in 19. So yeah, from 13, we're looking at Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, Man City. Excuse me, guys. And Bournemouth as well. Possibly Bournemouth. Maybe Brighton. A few teams. Whole bunch of teams. So all the expensive players. Oh, well, look, I mean, if you're looking at Brighton, you know, we've got maybe Minter for a cheap option. Maybe. Mabel says, hey Dan, concert to Anderson or Burn for a -4, need help. Would I do it for a -4? I mean, you really got nothing on your bench. You've got no Rodon, you've got no Alderete, you've got no Mukiele, you've got no Richards. Any of these players? Like, surely these are players that can fill in rather than taking a hit. But I guess if you really need to remove Concert, I wouldn't go for Burn. I would go for Chow over Burn. I'm still trying to recruit people to the Chow gang. You just have Senesi? Okay, that's fair enough. I would go for Richards, Chow, or Anderson, and yes, I probably would take the -4. We are going to get more people in the Chow gang. It will happen. In fact, what is Chow's ownership up to? 0.5%. So it's gone up from 0.4 last week. So there's a few more people with Malik Chow in the team. People are coming around slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Kukure in the order. Go. He would go like around Reece James, I guess, in this list. A few captain suggestions. Haaland, Saka, Gabriel. Sam says, I joined your Chow gang, sold Van der Ven 23-pointer for it. Oh, damn. Would you have played Van der Ven anyway, though, be honest? Because a lot of people I've seen, a lot of engaged managers, in fact, most engaged managers I've seen, bench Van der Ven. And the engaged managers that I've seen who played Van der Ven all said the same thing prior. It was, I have Van der Ven, it's not ideal, but it's probably not worth a -4 or something like that. So, listen, when Chow gets his 23-pointer this week, he won't be complaining. That's all I'm going to say. Nath G says, Voltamada brace against... Oh, hang on, I missed it. Against West Ham is pending. You heard it here first. Do you reckon? I can see it. I really can see it, to be fair. Yeah, I think Voltamada is probably the main. There's a few players I wish I had this game week. Voltamada is definitely one of them. Paul says, hi Dan, are you doing Movember this year? Thought about it. I did think about it. But then I kind of forgot, and now it's the 1st of November. So, what do you reckon? Just grow out the mustache? I should probably promote some kind of charity page then, shouldn't I? What should I do for November? Just grow a really big mustache. I've got a wedding tonight, so let me get the wedding out of the way, and then yeah, I'm happy to. If it's for charity, then I'm happy to do it. I'll sort that out tomorrow if I have time. Maybe on the car journey home. Right, handlebar mustache. I don't think I'm capable of growing a handlebar mustache, to be honest. It only grows in certain places, unfortunately, for me. On my face, just to be clear. Paul says, I would donate if you do. All right, mate. Well, I mean, you've already given a nice £5 donation, which I really appreciate, Paul. You know what? That £5 donation might you know, having reminded me, you might have done a good service to charity there, Paul. Thank you very much, mate. All right, I'll get that sorted. I will get that sorted. But it probably won't be a handlebar myself. I mean, I can try. I don't know if it will work. We'll go from scratch. We'll see what happens. Alderete or Roden to start. Both players on the bench list, Fayaz. Van der Ven and Snessi both on the bench list. Van Dijk and King are not both on the bench list. I would start Van Dijk over King, I think, though. I would start Van Dijk ahead of most players, to be fair. Ted Lasso 2.0 incoming. You know what? I've had my eye on a AFC Richmond football shirt, to be fair, because I am a big Ted Lasso fan. I feel like I maybe missed the boat on that one, though. Like, that show is a couple of years old. Are they bringing out a new season for that? Are they doing season 4? Does anyone know? Like, maybe one based in the US or something like that with a different team? No. If anyone knows anything about Ted Lasso new season, then if there is going to be one, then I would love to know. Isa says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. $5 as well. Hero. I will keep up the good work. I'll certainly try. Daniel Redcar says I got a Richmond Tart shirt recently. Yeah, got to be considered. Ian says they're doing a spin-off for a women's team, I believe. Okay. Rohit and Mohit both asking for team news pretty much at the same time. All right, let me have a check. How long to wait? Deadline is in 5 minutes. I didn't even realize. I'm so sorry. There is no team news though, unfortunately. Wow, that's come around quickly, hasn't it? But yeah, it looks like we are sans team leaks. Unless anything comes in the next 5 minutes. You never know, it might. I'll keep my phone here just so I can keep an eye on out for leaks. All right, can we not get Matessa going with Voltamada and Sar? If you can get them all, then amazing work. I can't quite manage it though. Can anyone answer Chow or Burn? Who is likely to get more points? I think the answer is Chow, KC. That is my personal opinion. Jan says he just started my draft team. Garner, Reinders, Dino, Ekatike. I think I would just stick with Ekatike. Alderete or Tarkovsky. I think you've got to be tempted by Alderete at this point, no? I think Alderete offers pretty much the same as Tarkovsky this season for 1.5 million cheaper, which is crazy, right? Why would you start King over Senesi, please, Dan? Because there's a good chance King plays. If he does, he's playing against Wolves. Amazing. Senesi is playing against Man City. Man City will most likely score. And because Man City spends so much time with the ball, there will not be opportunities for DEFCON for Senesi either. Even a great DEFCON defender like Senesi may be incapable of getting DEFCON against the mighty City. Kareem says Gyökeres for Voltamada and Stacked and Jai. But who starts then? Semenyo or Kudus? Or Njai or Enzo? 3 or 4. You bench probably Kudus out of those 4, probably. But is that scored maybe slightly too strong? I don't know. Do you need that player? I don't know. And why not Sar as well? Yash says Reinders to Sar, Gvardio to Chow were for -8 or either for -4. Reinders to Sar is worth a -4. Gvardio to Chow is not worth a -4. So if you can just do the Reinders to Sar upgrade, if you can afford to do that, then I would do it. Would I do both for a -8? Probably not. I'd probably rather just have Reinders, to be honest. Yeah. How about Gakpo? I'd play Gakpo in most scenarios. Enzo or Cherky who'd start? Probably Enzo. I can't really see Cherky starting. He played 90 midweek, didn't he, Cherky? And I'm keeping an eye on him though, because he's in my draft team. Still no team news, guys. It doesn't look like we're going to get a leak today, but look, we'll keep an eye. We've still got 2 minutes till deadline, so you never know. I just fielded Captain Gabriel today. That's brave. That's very brave. People are sweating on Saliba a little bit. Yeah. It could just be more Arteta nonsense, to be fair, with Saliba. Who's Captain Haaland or Mateta? I would Captain Haaland. I'm going to end the poll, by the way, guys. Oh, Show Team Gang is here. Is the Show Team Gang chairman still here? Final results on Game Week 10 captain poll, by the way, guys. 73% of you guys said you're going for Haaland. 11% said Saka. 9% said Gabriel. And 7% on other. 2,500 votes. That is a decent sample size. Let's go to the Show Team. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos this week, you will already know what my team looks like. But for those of you in the Show Team Gang who don't watch any videos all week, turn up for the last couple of minutes of the deadline stream and then disappear for another week, there is your answer. The most loyal of all of the subscribers. At least I know you're subscribed, because you can't chat in chat unless you're subscribed. So we'll take what we can get. Should I triple captain Mateta? No way. The Mateta hype is out of proportion. It is out of proportion. He is a good pick, and he's a great replacement for a bad forward if you have a bad forward in your team. But he is not the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. He is just a very decent striker. He's not Haaland. He's not, Salah, prime Salah. He's just a good pick. And nothing more. Help me play Gvardiol or Rodon. Oh, play Gvardiol. If you have him, you may as well give him a go. Right? Brighton always seem to score. Right. We are literally seconds away from deadline, and there has been no team leaks, unfortunately. Mateta is the second coming of Haaland. We'll see. I mean, I hope he is. He's in my FPL team, but I can't see it somehow. Is my team all good, all in order? Yeah. Definitely got the captain's armband on the right player. Oh, I meant to put the vice captain on you. That might be too late. No, I'm not too late. And it's going to be deadline in a few seconds, guys. And that is deadline. We are locked in. Well, congratulations to everyone for getting through another week of stress of FPL. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go pretty soon here, because like I said, I am going to a wedding today. So, yeah, still a couple of bits and bobs to do before I leave. But thank you so much for everyone for joining me today. Enjoy the football. I think it's going to be a really fun game week. A lot of transfers being made, some fixture swings, a lot of people looking at Arsenal, Crystal Palace, even Newcastle. It's going to be a fun one, guys. It's going to be, I'm feeling far more optimistic about Game Week 10 than Game Week 9, which was an absolute horror show, boring, dull, and all the other expletives we can use. But Game Week 10 is going to be the one. We're going to get some big scores. I can feel it. I can feel it in me bones. Right, guys, cheers. Enjoy the football. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. We'll be back tomorrow for an early transfer decisions kind of video. So I hope to see you guys there. Drop a like on your way out, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.